Ceann Comhairle, in my opinion, I'm not exaggerating when I say that the government are using the COVID pandemic to gag the opposition and minimise the opportunities for the opposition to hold the government accountable at a time of national emergency, when the questions that people are asking out there about the strategy around COVID, around the state of our health services and all the different knock-on issues that are affecting in a very profound way our population. One of those opportunities, which is being denied to us because of the severe curtailment, and we accept there has to be some curtailment of Dáil activity, but the severe curtailment is Taoiseach's questions. And we've asked for this for weeks. The Taoiseach's question slot that normally comes after leaders' questions, where you, the Taoiseach, are questioned about the matters under your department, all the various subcommittees that deal with COVID and so on, and we're not allowed to ask you these questions. That is not acceptable as far as I'm concerned. It's a 40-minute slot. We've asked for it for the last 2 weeks, and it is being denied, and that is not accountability. That's not leadership on your part, and it does not give the public the opportunity to ask really urgent questions they have of government.
Thank you very much. Anybody else on today's business? No. Taoiseach or the Chief Whip? Taoiseach?
For the Chief Whip, that's a complete misrepresentation of what has transpired at the Business Committee. There was a consensus at the Business Committee to try and get business done obviously in a shortened time frame because of COVID-19 and the current levels that we are at. And I think you shouldn't be grandstanding in such a, in my view, disingenuous way.
I think, Deputy, if anyone has been trying to muzzle you, they've failed spectacularly. Can we take it that the business for today is agreed to? Not agreed to. The Chakti Tarhave Natarishkan Aberdishtá, Enya Tanagunya Aberdishneel, Stolim Gulinkestridge. I believe the question is carried. Question carried. The next question is the proposal for dealing with tomorrow, Thursday's business agreed to. Not agreed. Deputy Boyd Barrett.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to waste the Dáil's time by calling votes, and particularly if I'm not getting support from others. But nonetheless, I'm going to make the point. We have 6.5 minutes to question the Minister for Health tomorrow, because the government insists on limiting the amount of time to debate and to question the Minister for Health. And we have raised this repeatedly over the last few weeks. It's unacceptable. We have a raging debate about the refusal of the government to even take seriously the calls for zero COVID. We have a desperate crisis in our health services in terms of sickness of health workers, the situation in our ICU, the vaccine rollout and so on. And by the way, we asked that that debate would be about COVID response and not just about vaccine.
Deputy,
and now it's just about vaccine.
About it now.
What?
We can't have a long debate about it now.
No, but I'm pointing out it is not acceptable.
Okay.
It is not acceptable, nor is it acceptable that at the end of Thursday, and it seems the government want to ensure that we organise things so that there cannot be Tuesday sittings of the Dáil, which I also think is unacceptable. So I object profoundly to this. It is essential work for us to act as messengers to the Dáil of the issues that are being raised by people in the context of this dire crisis and the hardships people are suffering, and their concerns about the lack of a plan from this government to deal with COVID.
You've made your point. Thank you very much, Deputy Boyd Barrett. Taoiseach, do you wish to respond?
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to make the point, and I think there's no doubt that the idea that you're being gagged or muzzled doesn't stand up to any scrutiny, in my view. But it's also a pattern emerging here every week on the order of business, that whatever agreed by the Business Committee, you will stand up, or someone on your behalf will stand up, even though you were at the Business Committee, and raise an issue of one kind or another. And I have to say that the issue of COVID dominates tomorrow's agenda, and rightly so. And you want to raise questions in relation to the health service and so on. I mean, the reality is our personnel and the people on the front line are performing heroically, as I said earlier, and are doing extraordinary work on behalf of all of us. And that is why we want to get the numbers down, and that's why we want to continue to get both case numbers down and to keep them down and reduce the pressures. But I want to say that tomorrow the Minister for Health is 100 minutes, I think he's in, on statements and questions and answers on COVID, on vaccinations. I presume that won't stop you from asking other questions either, and that he won't respond. Then you have the Minister for Social Protection is 135 minutes on COVID-19, and then we have the Minister for Housing, Local Government and Heritage for 135 minutes fixed debate on their response to COVID-19. So the whole day is dominated by COVID. So we shouldn't give the impression that sort of COVID has been marginalised. It's dominating it.